We all know how these events of 2001 continue to play out. But what if there was an altogether different threat on Isla Sorna? What if Billy didn't survive this encounter inside B's birdcage? What if Billy encountered a much larger aerial predator in place of the Pteranodon? A terrifying titan known for dominating the skies and destroying anything in its path. In a horrific twist of the timeline, Billy Brennan encounters the massive Quetzalcoatlus. In this alternate universe, what if the Quetzalcoatlus was in Jurassic Park 3? Chaos, containment, consequences. This isn't an act of sheer will. It's a moment of cataclysmic change, where science creates alternate worlds. What if different characters or creatures were involved in altogether different outcomes? In this series, we will explore what could have been in a world of Jurassic possibilities. Join us on a journey 65 million years in the making as we explore the question, what if?
Welcome to Jurassic Park. But not the Jurassic Park we remember. In this universe, the 1993 incident never happened on Isla Nublar, as the tropical storm which ravaged the island never arrived. Dennis Nedry was also never contacted by Biosyn Genetics, and the park opened without incident, with public interest in prehistoric life now soaring. In this world, the success of the original park led to Dr. Henry Wu facing a mountain of pressure from John Hammond to begin working on the second phase of Jurassic Park, which included the introduction of an aviary on Isla Nublar. In 1995, Henry Wu began research on the Pteranodon genome, but, like in the universe that we all know, in the same year Hurricane Calissa struck Isla Sorna, destroying Jurassic Park's factory floor and also erasing any progress Dr. Wu had made with hatching InGen's first pterosaurs. Much like in the main universe, John Hammond passes away in the year of 1997. In a twist of fate which parallels the existence of Jurassic World in the stories we know, interest in Jurassic Park begins to fade as people got bored of these dinosaurs. And InGen begins to collapse financially as their ability to add new dinosaurs to the park was unable to keep pace with the demand due to the destruction of Isla Sorna. Dr. Wu is then placed under increasing pressure to develop new attractions, but assets and resources are scarce. In the year of 1998, Masrani Global acquired InGen, committed to tackling the dwindling genetics company's financial deficit. At this time, Masrani Global began to plan for the return of Isla Nublar, with first mention of the idea of developing a Jurassic World. As the merger was completed, Henry Wu was approached by a shady group of scientists who encouraged him to develop several new genomes not on InGen's list, utilising DNA which they would provide for him. Although unaware at the time, Henry Wu began to develop the Spinosaurus, Ankylosaurus, Corythosaurus, and Quetzalcoatlus, utilising DNA provided by Biosyn Genetics. A year later, Masrani Global personnel visited Isla Sorna as part of an operation to prepare for Jurassic World's new factory floor. During this trip to the island, the personnel encountered several animals not on InGen's list, including juvenile Quetzalcoatlus in the island's old aviary. Assuming that Dr. Wu had managed to progress his research further than first thought, before ultimately having to abandon the island, the presence of this animal on Isla Sorna is not questioned, and the Quetzalcoatlus, which are present on the island, continue to grow away from prying eyes. The events of the infamous Kirby family excursion to Isla Sorna play out largely the same, until the survivors of the crash on the island encountered the birdcage on Isla Sorna. As they attempted to traverse through the catwalks in the aviary, the group are quickly plunged into horror when they are ambushed by the now much larger adult Quetzalcoatlus. 4 of the animals are present in the aviary in total, and they quickly destroy the catwalks which the group are attempting to escape via. Alan Grant is injured during one of these clashes. Seeing that his mentor is injured, Billy Brennan attempts to distract the Quetzalcoatlus, buying vital time for the survivors to escape through the worker access gate. However, unlike the events of our universe, Billy Brennan doesn't walk away from this aviary unscathed. The large pterosaurs are vicious in their nature and proceeded to attack the young man. Rather than feeding him to their young like the Pteranodons would have done, the Quetzalcoatlus lash out at Billy, tearing him apart with their razor-like jaws. As the group watch on in horror, desperate to escape, they make the critical mistake of leaving the gate to the aviary open in the ensuing chaos, allowing the animals a portal through which they can escape into the wider world. The death of Billy Brennan would become the catalyst for these 4 animals escaping their containment on the island, changing the course of this universe forever. As the animals escape containment, they quickly make their way towards the mainland, where Masrani Global rushes to assemble a containment team. Led by Vic Hoskins and a team of former InGen personnel, the capture team attempt to contain the Quetzalcoatlus, but the limited technology of their time, combined with the fast movements of these large predators, made it very difficult. The ensuing hunt lasts for over a year, with Vic Hoskins perishing during one of the encounters with these animals. Eventually, Masrani Global personnel are able to contain the Quetzalcoatlus in 2002, but not before the animals had struck down a passenger plane filled with civilians in Costa Rica, causing 125 casualties. The ensuing legal battle would see Masrani Global embroiled in a legal battle which would be devastating for the international conglomerate. A battle which would ultimately lead for plans to develop Jurassic World being shelved and the park of Isla Nublar never being constructed. In the passing years, assets which had been created for the now defunct attraction began to appear on the black market, and in summer of 2005, a pair of Quetzalcoatlus appeared on the black market. Lewis Dodson of Biosyn Genetics was quick to acquire these animals, recognizing them as assets which his agents had first helped him to develop back in 1998. Recognizing that there was likely to be a trend of InGen assets appearing on the black market, Dodson positioned his company as the de facto replacement for the failed genetics company, striking a contract with the Costa Rican government to support with the containment of Isla Nublar and Isla Sorna. In this universe, Biosyn's facility in the Dolomites continued to provide a secondary function as the company opened a brand new facility in Costa Rica, a location which provided an ideal location for which they can support the ongoing containment operations in Central America. In this world, with InGen and Masrani largely disassembled before Jurassic World could even be constructed, Biosyn Genetics were free to continue with their experiments in secret, obtaining more and more InGen assets as they continue to expand their genome libraries and further their research on animals from the past. In 2010, Henry Wu joined Biosyn Genetics as their chief scientific advisor, allowing him to continue his work in secret. Lewis Dodson gave the doctor free rein and all of the funding at his disposal, allowing Wu to continue to experiment with the hybrids he had first begun to develop for Jurassic World many years earlier. But what would happen next? Would Henry Wu's research have continued in secret? How would the world be different if Biosyn had these animals much sooner? Would our protagonists have ever stopped Biosyn's operations in 2022? For now, all we can question is,
what if? What if? What if?